been a really interesting few weeks, interesting few months, and I'm at this stage now where I want to share with you a bit more about what I've been doing behind the scenes and to give you some of the tools that have helped me find my new way of being calm. And I haven't always been as grounded and as calm as I am these days. It's taken me a lot of work to get to this point, as particularly when I've had a few road bumps along the way. So today I want to talk to you about how I've used one of my main tools, which is breathing. And I know you're breathing all now because you're watching this, but how breathing has been my grounding tool when I was under a lot of pressure with both work, life, divorce, and as things evolve, also with the last 2 years with court cases and con men and other stuff that you may be hearing about that I've been involved with. So I can tell you that stuff works because I have had to learn to reset my breathing beyond what is normal, and particularly when I've been in that trauma state. And many of us get hijacked along our lives and don't know that we actually need to take the power back, both from our body and our mind's point of view. So that's a lot of the learning that I share on what I do. And a few years ago, actually, I created this online course called Breathe Right and Reduce Your Stress. And I didn't realize how much it was going to make an impact both into my life and to many of the people out there. And I've just reshaped it recently so that it actually has me as your live coach over the 30 days. So I've always been part of that program in the course, but I wanted to make sure that I had that live coaching for anybody that was coming along and was signing up for that journey. So I'm really excited that for people that are wanting to change the reaction to stress, to change the way they breathe, and they can join me on Monday, February the 15th. And what's going to be happening over that time is that's day one, where we start to look at your breathing pattern and your habits. And we start to reset what you're doing with your nervous system. And for me, I'm a physio first and foremost, oh, a woman first and foremost, and then somehow become a mum, an entrepreneur, and a physio. And my physio background has been a really key element into why what I do is a bit different. As a physio, we look at habits and patterns, we look at muscles, and we look at physiology and anatomy. And so while it's a lot about understanding the breathing patterns that you do and the rhythm and rates that are out there, what I find is it's about finding the individual direction or pathway for your breathing pattern. And it's not a one size fits all. So that's why Breathe Right and Reduce Your Stress is a perfect tool for you. If you've been struggling with sleep, fatigue, with digestive issues, there's so many things, you've been in a long period of grief, change, or trauma, then what I love about the Breathe Right course is it gives you the tools to look at it from a holistic nature, not just, hey, do a few fast breaths or slow your breathing down or breathe less. It's that why that's really important to me particularly. And it's why I want to make sure that you guys understand why stress can be a good thing if we use it well, and why it can also be toxic. I know that more than many people because of that stress I had in the last 2 years. And sometimes it gets triggered again, like grief can. Grief can be this most challenging thing that goes on in your life. And the way that I've had it described to me, which I think's a perfect way of looking at it, is this idea that grief becomes a box in your life. And then that little box ends up, can be quite big when that grief first occurs. And then when life goes on and you start to build your life back around it, the box can get a bit smaller, can shrink down, and you can build your world around it so it's not as all encompassing. But what happens is when you can get triggered or something comes up that reminds you of that grief, then that box then grows and gets bigger and can take over. And then it can come back down again. But the grief box is always there. And I've had that in the last week myself, the last 2 weeks, with this next stage of dealing with the trauma I went through, and realizing that sometimes that box, which I've really put away and on the shelf and buried it deep down, and what someone did to me, um, and then it comes up, and it's like, okay, I've got to learn to deal with those emotions and process it because it's also normal and it's healthy to have that emotions come up, but learning to express them are really important. So my work is about connecting the emotions, really important in our Kiwi way, even our Australian way. My mates over the ditch that I work with as well, and Americans, we can be really good at burying those emotions down. So my goal is to get you to connect with what your body's telling you, what your heart is telling you, and what your thinking brain is taking over and trying to hijack. So we're trying to connect all those three areas, those special parts of the body and the brain. And I find it works really well with first starting with that key element of tuning into your breath. So we take it back a few steps. We make sure that you're aware, because most of us are oblivious to our daily habits and how that's influencing our patterns. And so what I want is that you guys become in control. And that's really what I'm going to be teaching you, is those tools that make you feel that you can take power back, which I know all about, in those moments of challenge, trauma, and change. Those lovely things that are going to occur anytime in life. So if you're ready to join me, what I can tell you about the course is it's a 30 days that you work with me, but you've actually got the access to the course for a whole 12 months. So people that come back and watch the videos and listen to the audios and do the downloads and read through it and go, oh, I want to check back on that exercise. So that's always there. And actually what I've added in these last few rounds, these monthly rounds of doing this course, is that we're going to be doing live training. So you're going to have me with you like this, and you're going to learn all these tools in a live training on the first and the fourth week of the course. That way you got some accountability, because I know it's really hard to sort of just keep up these changes, but I want you to focus on it for 30 days. 21 days to change your habits, so we're doing a little bit longer, and I'm giving you heaps of tools to make it easy to reset that body. So if you are ready and you know that maybe breathing could be a little bit of a point that you could do some work on, especially this new year, you're going, that's something that I want to actually make a change, then sign up for the Breathe Right course. The link's in the live, or you can see it on my website, the Breathe Right and Reduce Your Stress. It's very different from what we do with Cultivating Calm, our 30-day women's retreat, online women's retreat. It is much more focused for men and women, and so that's great, guys. You are included in this, and a lot of science as well in behind this, and really focusing on those habits, the triggers that come up, and starting to communicate with that. And the great thing is the course, how it's run, you can message the group and get that conversation going, because you're not the only one out there that's been triggered and have things going on. So the courses now are going to be run in a certain start date. So if you do want to join in, you've got to start on that date with me. You can sign up earlier, and then we kick off on that date, and then it won't be run every month. So if you know you are ready for that change, you want to get your energy levels up, you want to sleep better, you want to feel like you can ride through those lows of life, get back life post-COVID experience that we've all had, then sign up for the 15th for next Breathe Right, Reduce Your Stress. 30 days, but only really 5 to 15 minutes a day on the actual course. So, and all you need is the internet access to be able to watch the videos, to join in with the lives, and you can watch the lives later if you can't make it, but you'll get a lot out of those trainings if you can, and that's where the magic really happens. And it's all about tuning into you. You've got a different pattern than I have, than anybody else that'll be in that group. And I want to hold up that mirror and show you those different elements and different breathing patterns, why it links to your emotions, why it'll impact things like your digestion. So you've been struggling with your digestion for a long time, and I did for a long time with my gut health post having children. Actually, I had all these symptoms that when you look back, it was like, I was just in a stress state for too long, way too long. And a lot of it was from the emotional and physical and psychological drivers. It was everything, let's be honest. I had the trifecta, and now I have to work really hard to be conscious and aware of it. It means my life can look very structured and full and busy, but it's actually what helps me survive all the things that I love to do, including running up mountains and stuff, and speaking to the media, and talking at Toastmasters, whatever the things that are my challenge. I've used these tools to help get me to step into it. And a lot of that's about getting out of the state of fear. And fear for many of us can be crippling. I know for me, when I was learning to speak publicly, some public speaking training, I had to really override that with using my breathing techniques. And now that I watch people do their public speaking training, I can see how much, if they could just train that breathing pattern, how much better their body would react, how their thinking brain, this front part, that processing part in the brain, would actually allow it to come back on, and that survival brain just dampen down. So the great thing with the live training is that, yeah, you get a lot of education from me. You get my crazy energy. You get me to help look at things differently. And you've got questions about your own breathing pattern, whether it's to do with waking up with a dry mouth, snoring, with waking up fatigued and tired. Like you still have like 9 hours, but you're still tired. Like that isn't normal, people. and the way that you breathe can be all part of that. So I'm hoping that you guys can spread the word for me. You can do the breathing tests online. You can commit to you and join me while I add in lots of other different techniques and tools that I've been being pulled in over the last few years, and things that I've been working on myself that I'm going, this is what makes all the difference. So I'd love you to comment, share, spread the word. Breathe the Right, Reduce Your Stress is coming up. And I am looking forward to finding the group that's going to gather with me, even if it's virtually. And this is probably where I am moving with the business. So if you've been holding out for some of my in-person workshops, I'm sorry, guys. I want to make the most of my time working with you, and I want people that are committed to making that change. And so that means you got to sign up and you've got to put that time and investment into you. And that's when we're going to get the results. And I want that. I want change, especially if we're unwinding like years and years and years of stress habits and physiology and physical patterns. We have to step into that change. Anyway, that's it for me. Breathe Right, Reduce Your Stress, 15th of February. And we've got live trainings are on the first and the fourth week of the course. It's on the Tuesday. So it's the second day, and then that fourth week, I think it's like the 23rd. I don't think I got the dates there. And it is at 12 p.m, so lunchtime. Okay, so hopefully you can make that work with your New Zealand time. I'm in New Zealand, so that's where it's at. All right, thanks guys for listening and commenting. I will check out to see if there is anybody saying, yes, I'm jumping on, or what your thoughts are. Please share, spread the word. This is what I do, and I love it, and I'm ready to step into this change, helping other people do that as well. So, yeah, see you guys later, and thanks for joining me. Bye.